Become the best doctor for you with leading national health advocate, author, and host, Dr. Reed Tuckson, in The Doctor in the Mirror.
A lot of people tell me that they're overwhelmed and confused by all of the health information that is bombarding them every day. It's time to page Dr. You and get you engaged. If the system is going to work best for you, then you need to come prepared. It's your body. It's your life. You have a right to take it to the best possible doctor who is prepared and willing to work with you to make sure that it stays as healthy as possible. Just look in the mirror and you'll see a person who knows more about you than anyone else. Yes, you're the doctor in the mirror. Hello, I'm Dr. Reed Tuckson, and today I'm making a very special health house call. I'm making a personal call to you right into your own home. The things around that you see on this set, the comfortable chair I'm sitting in, the family pictures, the ubiquitous computer, all of these things are meant to represent the spaces in which we live our lives, where we interact with family and friends, where we get our information, and if we're smart, where we can also get healthier too. But before we go any further in our show, I want to introduce you to another doctor, a pretty amazing one at that. Maybe you've already encountered him or her. I want you to meet Dr. You. That's right. Just look into the mirror and you'll see a person who knows more about you than anyone else. Yes, you're the doctor in the mirror. And if you're like most of the people listening to me today, you need to be honest with yourself about your health. You need to be much more engaged, and you need to make some important changes starting right now. I'm the kind of doctor who is fortunate enough to travel all over the country. I get to go all the time interacting with all kinds of people, poor people, black people, white people, Hispanic people, men, women, people who are in their 50s, the baby boomers, and those who are the frail elderly. And do you know what I've learned from all these conversations? When it comes to health, too many people are on autopilot, and the plane is out of control. Well, why is that? What do people say are the reasons that they have turned off their health navigation systems? A lot of people tell me that they're overwhelmed and confused by all of the health information that is bombarding them every day. Sometimes all this information gets to be too much for people to handle. Other people tell me that they are paralyzed by anxiety about their own health outlook or that of a loved one. Many people as human beings, we react negatively sometimes when we're concerned. We just think, I'm worried, so I have to push it off. I got to push it back. I can't handle it. Other people tell us that the reason that they have gone on autopilot is because health just isn't that important to me. I've got other things in my life that are more important. I care more about who's winning the baseball game. And besides, it's just fate anyway, isn't it? There's nothing that I can do about it. Well, whatever your reason is for being on autopilot and not taking full charge of your health, my goal today with you is to get you to look in the mirror and identify those barriers that are holding you back from optimal health, and to give you, Dr. You, the confidence and the know-how that you can be a great doctor who actually is the best person working alongside your regular doctors to take care of your health. So we're here today to offer you practical tips and information that will help you to decide for yourself that you will care about yourself, that you will build the confidence that it takes, that's necessary for the proper actions, and that will help you to identify the barriers that impede your action and then how to overcome those barriers with tips and information that are practical that you can put into play in everyday life. By the way, because we are going to be giving you a lot of information, you might want to take this opportunity to grab a pencil and a piece of paper because you're going to need to write a few things down. Well, it all starts with looking in the mirror. So all of you in our audience, I want you to reach up under your chairs and grab the mirror that we have put there for you. And those of you that are at home, you might think about getting your own mirror out of your own bathroom. because I want to introduce you to a very important person. You've got your mirror. I want you to hold it up, and I want to introduce you to the amazing, the brilliant, the esteemed Dr. You. Now, I bet you didn't know that you could be a health genius. When it comes to your own health, you really can be. After all, who knows you better than you know you? And who should care more about you than you? And by the way, you've been observing your body all your life. You've been treating yourself all of your life, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But as you look in that mirror, I want you to decide to like the person you see. I want you to care about the person you see, and then I want you to decide today to do the things necessary to keep that person healthy and keep that person happy. You actually have more control than you realize. Out of all the things that Dr. You and I could discuss, in our time today, we're going to focus on three things. Number one, choosing to be the healthiest you possible. Number two, we're going to talk about how can you make the healthcare system work best for you. And third, and this is very important, we're going to help you to learn how to create your own personal healthcare safety net to help you to learn to manage your medical needs. Well, let's start out with the first section, and that's how to help you choose to be the healthiest you. Notice the importance of the first word, choose. It's choice. Remember, you are your lifestyle. How you live is how you feel. Not feeling your best? Maybe it's time for a lifestyle restyle. An example for me in my own life, I lost my dad not long ago. I love my pop to death. My father was a man who had many of these chronic illnesses that are preventable. He had high blood pressure and he had diabetes, and ultimately the thing that got him was chronic kidney disease, which comes from the combination of having high blood pressure and diabetes in so many people. And that made me, as I watched him go through his process, think about my own life. I noticed I was working too hard, wasn't eating properly, starting to gain some weight, and I knew that I had to look in the mirror at Dr. You and decide, how do I evaluate my own life? What's important to me? I like to cycle. I like bicycle riding. To me, it's just a great amount of fun. And so I started back on a training regimen. I started watching what I eat. And it really changed my life in so many ways, and I'm so much better for it. I'm motivated by specific goals as a cyclist. For example, I ride with a lot of young kids, and I hate it when they drop me when we're going on a hill. I don't want that to happen. So I'm just rolling hard to make sure that those are my goals, simply to keep up with the kids. Other people have goals, like for example, I want to be able to climb up that mountain that you see there. I actually did climb up to take that picture. That's a picture that I took. So that mountain is very important to me, and being able to get up in that space in the beautiful outdoors where the air is clear, I like to be able to get there. And no matter how many years I get the privilege to live, I always want to be able to walk up and be able to take a picture of something as beautiful as that. But we all have our own goals, and that's the key. You have to have your own goals and start reasonably. The point is, start somewhere. So here's an order from this doctor to Dr. You. The way to feel like $1 million is to start at a penny at a time. We make small changes, but we absolutely need to start somewhere. Well, since we're trying to get Dr. You to choose to be the healthiest you, let's start with exercise. Now, I know you've heard it before. Exercise is important. Well, if you've heard it before, why aren't you doing it? I talk to people and ask them, why are we being couch potatoes? Let me give you a statistic, and it's amazing to me, that 60% of adults report no vigorous activity, and amazingly, 25% aren't active at all. Now, I hope that's not one of you in the audience, and I hope that's not one of you at home. But what are some of these excuses that I do hear? I call them the two excuses. Maybe you know some of these and you'll recognize them in yourselves. I'm too busy. Or there's the other one, which is I'm in too much pain to even start to think about exercising. Or we get the one where it's too late for me. There's nothing I can do. It's all fate. It's over for me. Or gyms are too expensive and I don't have the right jogging suit and I don't have the right tennis shoes. Or we get the excuse that I'm too afraid of falling or injuring myself to even start. Or we get the one, it's too complicated. I don't even know where to start. Well, we have to overcome these barriers. To be healthy depends on it. And we also have to overcome these barriers if we want to be fit enough to do the things that we want to do and that we need to do, ordinary things associated with living, reaching up to get something off the top shelf in the cupboard, or exciting things like hiking up that beautiful mountain that I showed. And if that weren't enough, we have to be fit because of the dreaded O word, obesity. And I know you've heard it. The incidence of obesity is absolutely frightening. Everywhere I go, I just look at the body shapes of people in the airports and in malls, and we're just getting so much bigger. But it's not just that we're getting bigger, we're getting sicker. It's heart disease, cancer, diabetes. These are the leading causes of death for adults and older people, and they come directly from things like obesity. And so we've got to get our hands around it. Well, what is this obesity? Of course, it's very simple. It comes from putting too much in or the wrong things in and then not being active enough to burn off what we put in. So, you know, it's important that we keep track of our weight. I've got my scale here, and every day I know that I take a look at it and see what my weight is, and pretty good today. So we measure our weight, and then we are able to understand the relationship between our weight and our height. And that gives us a very important statistic called the body mass index. You're Dr. You, don't be excited, don't worry about terms. Body mass index is simply a calculation that gives us a sense of our level of obesity. And if you have a body mass index of 30 or more, then you are obese. And if you have one that is 25 or more, then you are considered overweight. So it's very important to be able to then go into sources of information and calculate out your BMI. Very easy to do. So one great website is the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute has a great tool. It's called it's at www.nhlbi.nih.gov. And there you will find this, and I can put my information in. And as a result, it will let me know based on my height and my weight and compute out my BMI. And let's see what I come out as, 23.7. I told you that 25 was overweight, so I made it. And I'm glad that I have been lucky enough to be able to take control over my health, get my number down, but not just get it down, be able to keep it down. And that's the work that all of us have to be able to do.